professionalism and the recognition of the moment of Roddy Piper.
Yes.
He let your moment breathe.
Yes.
The crowd had
Well done.
time
Exactly.
to let it all out. His reaction was, what on earth?
Yeah.
Everything. He lit
But
the
he
whole
could have
moment.
cut me off.
He could have.
He could have not let me shine.
But
he
that-
could have just. But
he
he
recognized
didn't
that's not doing either of you a favor.
at all.
He knew
it's
what
not
was
helping.
best. An amazing moment, man.
Yes.
Just an amazing,
He's so
amazing
professional.
moment.
So that's why they're called legends.
Right.
I'm a legend. I'm not putting myself over. I'm a legend.
You
Oh,
don't
you're
have to.
I
you
give a
don't
shit
have
about
to.
Hall
You
of
are a
Fame.
legend.
You know, I give a shit about Hall of Fame with all due respect,
Right.
but my kids said to me, and that's all that matters, that you are our Hall of Fame. That's all that matters to me.
Absolutely,
Bro,
man.
you're our Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you know what I
you
mean?
are our Hall
If I
of
could
Fame.
really after all, your book is Job, man. Is your job much more dangerous than a mid-level card guy, an intercontinental title holder guy, a main event guy, because of the fact that you got to take some serious bumps, or is the answer just obvious at this point? I'm just curious.
No, you're exactly right, Joe. We're kind of in a vulnerable position. We're out there to make the big guys look good, the stars, the mid-card guys. Just take care of us. You don't have to go out there and kill us. Mm-hmm. We're there to make you look good. We wouldn't be there. They would not bring us in if we sucked. There's a few guys out there that shouldn't be out there, but those guys are no longer. Mm-hmm. But I went out there and I told them, I said, whatever you want to do, that's fine. I'll sell the heck out of it for you. But don't, if we're kind of in a vulnerable position, the guy's going to come off and drop a knee on us. Don't come down and cave my chest in or cave my face in or, there's no reason for it. Tito Santana probably said it best. I worked Tito one time in Milwaukee, and Tito said, I pulled his hair a little bit hard, and he said, hey, man, he said, you don't really have to pull it. Just touch it, and I'll go back with it. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You just – and we're kind of like – it's kind of like a double-edged sword. If a guy takes advantage of you, if one of two things, you can either take it out on him in the ring. It's going to screw up the match. You're going to get fired. They won't have you back anymore because you hurt one of their stars or you messed it up. Or if you go in the back in the dressing room and you kamikaze him with a chair in the back of his head, you might go to jail for assault. But it's kind of like a fine line. The only thing what really worked out good, and I really never had any other issues with anybody over the years except that time with Billy. But we had to deal with the fans. So knowing how to protect yourself, if some fan wanted to, take a shot at you, we had that to back us, how to defend ourselves. And so that was a big thing. And there's nutty fans out there. There's some crazy ones, that's for sure.
I bet. I'm sure you came across quite a few. Let's discuss the one that Verne Gagne messed up on, the great one that Verne Gagne let get away. And of course, you have some memories, I am sure, of Monty and the Pharaoh's personal all-time favorite. Tell us about Hulk Hogan.
Hogan, he was probably my favorite opponent. He was super nice. He took care of you out there. Super light. Hogan had a habit. What he would do is when he would hit you in the head, he put his hand on the top of your head, on your forehead, and he hit his own hand. He wouldn't even touch you. And he's just big and strong enough that when he, if he would slam you or he would suplex you, he would just come down and he was the ultimate job guy's dream to wrestle him. Oh my God. He was just the most wonderful opponent. I mean, I could have wrestled him every day of the year and not have to worry about it. As far as what Verne screwed up, in my opinion, they should have given him the strap back in '82. They reversed it because, number one, in this business, after a while, and in any kind of sport, you get sick and tired of seeing the same guys. It was back and forth between Vern and Nick with the title. They should have given it to Hogan because the people wanted something different, and he would have done.
They wanted him.
They wanted him. They really did.
They did.
And if Vern didn't want to give him the title because he was squabbling about his payoffs, for shirts, T-shirt money in Japan and whatever else, and he wanted a real wrestler, you know what? Forget it, because they could have sold out everywhere. And if Hogan had the title, they could have certainly worked out different angles. Heenan had Patera, Bobby Duncombe, Nick Bockwinkel, Blackjack Lanza. They could have worked out, storylines and angles where they could have come back for over a year and a half, and the title wouldn't have mattered. It's just, the storylines that they could come up that would have sold out. And Vern really missed his opportunity, and Hogan thought, well, you know what? I'm getting a call from Vince. I'm going with him, and I can't blame him. I love working for the AWA and I love working for Vern, but it was a bad business decision on his part, and so I don't know if he would never publicly regret it, but probably deep down he did.
What would Chris Curtis say to the internet fan, who, by the way, I believe is in the minority? He just has a very loud opinion. What does Chris Curtis have to say to the fan who says that Hulk Hogan was a crap wrestler and ruined the business?
Doesn't matter if he was a crap wrestler. What matters is that he drew money. That's what this business is all about. That's right. It's drawing money. Who cares?
Right.
So people were enamored with him. He was just so big, so different. And the funny thing is I worked guys before that were like Olympians, and they would tell me, like, I don't know why I have to do a job for this guy, and I could beat him straight out, and I say, well, you know what, you're not in the amateurs anymore. This is professional, and they have to get away from that mindset that they can beat this guy, they can beat that guy. Forget it. I don't know if you guys remember a guy named Danny Hodge.
Yep, sure.
Danny Hodge was probably the toughest wrestler ever, professional or amateur. Danny did jobs, and if it's a legitimate shoot, nobody was going to beat Danny. But he did what the business wanted to do. He was in it for such a long time, and there was other guys, Joe Scarpello, who was in Iowa. He was a 4-time Big Ten champion. This is way back around when Vern was an amateur, and he was an Olympian, and he did jobs. Who cares? It's pretend. It's not.
It's a show.
It's exactly. The outcomes are not real. They're all predetermined, and you're in it to draw money. That's all it is. And if you're with that attitude that I can beat this guy and I'm not going to do a job for him, well, you're in the wrong business. Sorry.
How much do you think that Vern Gagne's purist approach towards pro wrestling screwed him up with Hogan? Do you feel like his traditional values got in the way? Because Hulk Hogan was clearly a huge change in pro wrestling, and Vern just didn't want it or didn't recognize it, or what do you think that was?
He didn't want it. Plus, he had that thing where Hogan was selling T-shirts. Oh yeah, and he wanted some Hogan's money from Japan money, which was like it was just so stupid. Vern was a millionaire anyway, and it's like, Bill Watts was sort of like that too.
Okay.
Bill was like, he always had tough guys and everything, but guess what? Junkyard Dog was not a wrestler, and he can only do one, a couple of things, put a headlock on a guy. And, it's like, but so what?
Right.
If you
Right.
drew money,
Right.
who cares?
Yep. Yep.
That's all it is. Yep.
Yep.
Speaking of the plethora of mistakes that Mr. Gagne made throughout his tenure as the owner of the AWA, we're huge fans of the adorable one, Adrian Adonis, and Jesse the Body Ventura.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of relationship did you have with those two gentlemen, and you could tell us a story about them?
I love Jesse. Jesse he was, here's the thing, when he was in the AWA, he was a cool guy. When we went to New York, him and Hogan both still were nice guys to us. They remembered us. They stopped and they said hi, and they never had any arrogance like they're better than us. They were just cool guys. No, I don't care what anybody says about them. That's their issue. Jesse was just awesome. If you guys remember Black Saturday from 1984.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was on that card when Vince invaded Minneapolis, and I had Jesse. And but Jesse is just, he's just a really, really cool guy. He's got some different ideas on things these days, but you know what? So what? But he was always cool with us. Adrian, I don't like dirty laundry about any guys. And Adrian was, Adrian, I guess, was Adrian. He had his own deal, but I never had a problem with him. I worked him in a tag match when him and Jesse first got together when they came from Portland back in '79. Adrian was a hell of a worker. He was a great, great worker. And then I had him in Milwaukee again, in the singles. And actually first as a singles, and they brought him in as a baby face, and then they turned him heel with Jesse, and they teamed him up. But I never had a problem with Adrian. I know other guys had issues with him. I can only speculate, but I don't want to, I don't want to say bad about
Right.
anybody.
Yeah, it sounds like you're fairly emotional about Adrian. Were you affected deeply when he passed away? I mean, after all, I think this is him you're grabbing here on your cover of your book.
Yeah, that's Adrian and I. But no, that's Lawrence Susi on the back of the new book
okay.
is with Adrian. On
Oh,
the
there
other
he
one,
is. Oh, never mind.
no, there's the other book.
These
The yellow one.
sunglasses, you can't make out shit.
Yeah, but no,
There we go.
he kind of like self-destructed,
Right.
and that's the sad part. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that self-destructed that were like killer workers in the ring. Kurt Hennig and Eddie Guerrero, and and that's the part that's really sad. So,
Was there anybody you actually loathed getting into the ring with? Being the fact that you usually were making them look as good as possible. Anybody too rough with you besides Billy? Obviously that was supposedly an initiation, but was there anybody you saw over the years where you're like, oh man, I gotta perform with this guy again?
no, really not at all. The only time
You're lucky.
I had right?
You're lucky.
Well, there was guys that we had our Milwaukee guys that would go to do WWF TV tapings, and there was a couple of guys that really, really were jerks. Dino Bravo. I worked Dino when he was a babyface in the AWA. Dino, he had one of our guys, and after the match, after he pinned him, he'd stomp on his face and break his nose. He did that like 3 times, and for no reason at all. And then the Iron Sheik, he put him in the camel clutch, and while he'd have the guy's arms like that, and the guy would be vulnerable, after he would give up, the Sheik would release his arm and he would smash his face right into the mat, break his nose. That kind of stuff is uncalled for. And then the Road Warriors, I wouldn't want to wrestle them because they were so green when they first got into business that it's like, I'll be damned if I'm getting in the ring with these guys, because Ole Anderson, the booker down in Georgia, just told them to go all out and kill anybody. And even the guys that were on top didn't want to wrestle them because they were so green, they didn't know any better. They just listened to the office and told them they did what Ole said. And but only one other time, and it wasn't really too bad. I was wrestling, Tom Stone and I were wrestling the Hart Foundation, and Bret Hart got pretty stiff out there. He was laying in some elbows and kicks that were connecting pretty good. And so now I would have expected that from Neidhart, like, who was the crazy one, but
Right.
he was like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a legitimate nut job, but he was like super light. Bret, for whatever reason, was a real jerk that night. So I went back to the dressing room and I said, "Hey, Bret, what was that all about?" He goes, "Well, you were kind of heavy on a slam, and I just had to let you know." So I'm thinking, really? I looked at the match and I didn't see anything, but yet here's a guy who blames Bill Goldberg when he gave him that super kick.
Right.
And he claims that may have caused his stroke. And, now all he does is complain about that all the time and whatever else. And
He didn't seem too concerned for you guys that night, though. I got you.
no, and one of the other guys that I teamed up with, Stone, Bret let him have it one night too. I mean, he really sputted him, and there's no reason for it. You don't have to do that kind of stuff. If a guy's like really making you look bad, that's one thing. Then beat the shit out of him, but don't, and then finish him off right away. Just put him in something, finish him off, and be done with it. But you don't have to go out there and hammer the heck out of a guy for just because, if a guy didn't sell something completely right, or you can go up all the way for a slam, it happens. I mean, it happens. So.
We'll be right back with the Job Man after this quick commercial break.
See you in a sec.
Hi, it's Josh from Under the Table Hot Sauce. I'm here with my friend, the star of the show, Jimmy Farrow.
Yeah, what's up, JB?
Nah, nothing.
It's been a hot summer, and for all your barbecue needs, you can go to underthetablehotsauce.com. 13 unique flavors to choose from, created and bottled in a Long Island kitchen. Underthetablehotsauce.com. Let's go chow, JB.
Let's do it.
All the flavor, twice the burn. M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, only seen here out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. Our special guest is the Job Man, Chris Curtis. You could get his book on Amazon. I got to tell you, people, if you're a wrestling fan, another excellent book. I love reading excellent books about behind-the-scenes stuff and just about the thoughts of the person wrestling. So we are honored to have this guest in here. A quick special shout out. Lee Cole is watching. Lee will be on next week with a possible special reveal that he wanted to share with Monty and the Pharaoh.
Nice.
So Chris, we got a fan out there. We spoke a little earlier.
Said earlier, I'm
He
big
helped me
time-
too, so.
I'm big time into WWC. I've always been fascinated with the territory, and of course you were champion there at one point back in the day. Were you coming off what happened with the great Bruiser Brody? Were you worried about working down there when you got the call? Like, did you think about that sort of thing? Was there an unsafe shadow hanging over Puerto Rico, and could you trust Colon?
Oh, you being nice. Do you what you asking me? Did I have a shank? Yeah, I did.
There we go.
There you
I
go,
didn't
bro.
realize I had to say, bro, did you bring
yeah.
weapons? I mean, were you worried?
Did I have a
mean,
shank? I
okay.
had a shank, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
How did
there
you?
was no doubt about it. You know, like, I get it where, you know, some guys say, I can't believe that people would go down there and still work for Cologne and
Right.
things like that. But, you know, I had a personal vendetta to get down there
Interesting.
and the work the territory, you know, and I went to every projects, and they real. You know, when you're doing drugs, man, you know, and I'm hitting the beach, I'm working out, I'm hitting the gym, you know, I get high. This is what I do. Drink a case of beer before the wrestling match. You sweat it out when you get. By the time you get there, it's so damn hot in Puerto Rico.
Right.
So I wrestle, I go work out, go to a bar, drink up some more, get high. Wake up that morning, run on the beach, then go go lift weights, get high again. That was my schedule.
I would have definitely.
You see what I'm saying?
That would have been fun.
And, I worked out all the
like
time.
that, yeah.
And I
would've
still
liked
do.
that. Go get some
I still-
babes.
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
Can you get a little bit? Let's go to the
Killer.
beach.
Can I have a
get some
shank?
beers.
Can you get me a shank?
Oh, dude, I can
Dude,
get
this
you
is
one.
awesome.
But
I
you
gotta
said you
have
had
a
you said
shank
you had a
now.
personal vendetta. Like, what was the
Yeah,
vendetta?
that's-
Well, the personal vendetta was to go down there and succeed. You know, succeed
okay.
and do the things. I was
Kind of
TV
on your own type of thing. Like,
TV
I can
champion.
do this on my own.
Right.
That's
right.
I got
right.
you.
TV champion, tag team champions.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
course.
Carlos I didn't have no problem with Carlos. Carlito was down there.
I love Carly.
You know,
Big
his
fan
other
of him.
brother. You know, you know, and everybody, we got along. Maybe I wrestled Jose.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
and
So you
but
did
didn't have no
wrestle
problem.
Jose.
Any personal feelings about Mr. Jose, Mr. Invader?
You know, man, when you overstep your boundaries and stuff, you don't stay in your lane, things happen.
Okay.
That's all I can say about that. Things happen. You know.
Do you think the Colognes knew? I mean, you know, you were down there. Not that.
Come on,
I
man,
mean,
come on.
You know,
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, you know, most
in
people won't
Puerto
even
Rico,
ask this
everybody-
question, but I'm asking it. You know,
in Puerto Rico, I'm gonna say this.
I mean, it's almost like asking who shot
Camacho
JFK in
got
this
killed.
business, you know?
Camacho got killed down there.
Right. Right.
That tells you
right. Something's up. Something's
that
up.
you will get killed down there.
Yeah, you get.
If you don't know somebody that knows somebody, see, I spoke Spanglish to get into a project.
Okay.
If I didn't speak in the project, because you know there's real drug boys, man,
Oh sure.
all down there.
Oh, sure.
And so you walk into a place, you get shot right away.
Yeah.
If dead in the face, they shoot you dead in the face.
Well, I
that's
think
it. But I survived because I knew somebody that knew somebody.
And I think your statement, stay in your lane, you're fine.
Stay in
Get
your
out of your
lane.
lane,
Interesting.
you might get shanked in the shower. Right?
You can get it, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know, if he even had an idea, I guarantee he wouldn't win that show.
Right. We lost New Jack recently, and knowing you were coming in, we obviously it's a great time to get to speak with you about New Jack. You know, the man. I personally was a ECW. You know, from the last time you guys were here, I'm sure I said it then too. ECW was my favorite company. It was my favorite company back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, I absolutely. It felt like it was my company. This was the company I rooted for, and it felt so. It was the one for me. And Jack and you were one of my favorites, and I'm still not processing his being gone. Can you give me your thoughts on where you were when you heard, and how you were feeling, and how you're feeling now, and some memories of Jack for us, please?
Believe it or not, I was at a gym, and one of the guys that worked there, he said, "Man, New Jack is gone," and so I was shocked. You know, shocked, and not because we all gonna go one day. I'm not saying that, but we still had a long way to go as far as projects and stuff together and things like that. And I knew the Jerome Young side. See, you know, a lot of people see New Jack the one where he want to stab you, you know. but I knew Jerome Young side where, you know, he said, you know, when we decided to tag, he said, "Mustafa, you got to do this. you know, you get buy these boots, and we need this. You know what I'm saying? The stuff you need for the tag team, and that was all his gimmick. That was all his gimmick. Mustafa Saeed is in for money. You know what I'm saying? I'm in to make money. And Jack, but we happened to be friends because we were doing things before we wrestling. So I got to know the Jerome Young side, and then when they seen the New Jack side, don't get me wrong, he used to get pissed off at me.
Okay.
But would it be a real tag team? Would it be a successful tag team at all if you wasn't mad at each other? You know, and I miss him. I really miss him, man. We had a real good laughs. Man, I ain't never laughed that hard. I think I did enough laughing for 10 lifetimes with him. So forget what everybody else see. He did a lot of stuff for the money. So if he says, oh, talk shit about Paul Lee, you know, and he had legit shit to say about him, but, you know, it make money, yeah. He'll go out and explain. Say something about Mustafa. Say something about D-Lo. You know, and he
Giving
was
the
saying
audience what they want to hear. Right?
Yeah, and people go, man, he's mad at you. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So next thing you know, I'm calling him on the phone, and we talking. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't call him because of that. You know, we was talking. Hey, Mustafa, we got a show on the East Coast, man. You need to get ready, man. And you know that's what he would do.
You know, not that you would know this, and I'm just purely out of my speculation and some things I heard. Was his heart attack brought on by use of drugs at the time doing it, or was it just that his heart had enough from some of the stuff he was doing before? Do you know anything about that at all?
You know, I think that when it's your time, it's your time. I've been in the military, so I was standing in formation. They make 3 or 4 guys stand in front of the line. He said, you're gone. Now what you guys gonna do to watch the rest of these people's back? So the reality was, I knew that I didn't think that far into it, but it just hurt me when I sat in the room. I didn't leave the room for a good probably 24 hours. Just staying in my own room there, probably 24 hours.
In the weeks that have passed since, have you found yourself looking at your Rolodex, maybe going, you know, maybe I'll give Jack a call, and then
Yeah,
once
I catch
again-
myself doing that. I catch myself doing that. About to text him. You know, things like that. I still got my mother's number, telephone number, my father's telephone number. I got Jack's number.
Right.
I got my brother's number. I got all the certain numbers. My aunt passed. You know what I'm saying? So I am not getting in all of
Do you keep record? Do you have recordings of them that you kept on your phone?
Yes, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Nice.
Sometimes I just listen to them, you know, and things like that. And every message is crazy.
Is it really?
I bet
Get
it
your
is.
ass over here. You're supposed to get some of this food over here. You got some greens and, you know, some chicken and stuff. Come on, man. You know, kind of stuff like that.
Where do you feel his legacy lies? What would you say if you were to write the obituary for his career, and where would you place him? How would you describe his wrestling career?
Or it'd be like Clubber Lang. Pain.
Clubber Lang.
Overlap.
Yeah. Because with it was, he showed the reality of how wrestling could be. But he also showed that he could wrestle.
Yes.
He
Yes,
could
he
wrestle.
could. Yes,
But
he
he
could.
didn't. He chose to do the latter. And that was his prerogative.
You think it was the style of wrestling or the matches? Because you know how much your good friend pushed his body. Do you think that had something to do with his?
Well, you adjust to you can't do some of the stuff that you did 10, 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And when you think back, when you look back at somebody didn't make no sense to do
Right.
it. You know, no matter how much money you was making.
Did you ever try to talk to him, or back in the day, about, hey, you might want to not jump 30 feet, keep it at 20?
Well, he was like this. Hey, don't you think? I
would've
would
told
say
you where to
something. I'm
go.
telling you to slow down a little bit. Nah, yeah, I'm a drug addict too, and trying to tell him. But anyway, at that time,
Yeah.
and then you know, and I don't knock that. I'm gonna tell you one thing though. I'm getting off subject just a little bit. Weed is not a bad thing for people.
Agreed.
Okay, we will get back on that subject later.
Okay.
But back to I used to tell him. He said, Mustafa, I'm good. I said, all right, I'll leave him alone. Every time I would say, Jack, you don't have to do that. You got the popularity.
You're over, man. You're over. Take it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know,
take it.
right.
you're doing your thing, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You bouncing, man. You got more bounce to the ounce, bro. You know what I'm saying? But you know. That's how he is.
All right, with that, we'll be right back.
What I'm saying is, I didn't see that.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to speak on something I
So
don't see.
this is a little, if you had a final opportunity to say something to Jack and you knew he was going to pass, but you had the opportunity to say something to him, what would you say?
I love you. I didn't get to say that. You know, because I told him, I said, next time we get together, and then, you know, I would tell him I love him.
With that, we'll take a quick commercial break.
Hey, it's me, the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Hey, check out my new tag team, baby, Monty and the Pharaoh.
Hey, Jimmy, don't forget to tell them about Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast.
Well, you know what, I would, but you already did it.
It's Monty and the Pharaoh.
The Monty and Pharaoh Show.
Monty and Pharaoh, bro.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
You've got the future Hall of Famer, that rocker, Marty Jannetty, and MJ in the house, and I'm sitting here with two more future Hall of Famers, Monty and the Pharaoh. We're doing that stuff and we gonna rock it.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
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 And Monty and the Pharaoh. Oh, is it Monty and the Pharaoh?
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Hey, cut music. When you want the best in professional wrestling, Long Island, there's only one place you're going to get it, right here.
Monty and the Pharaoh. Now, that's not just the coolest, and that's not just the best. That, my friends, is just incredible.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Duh.
I'm having one fight with Monty and the Pharaoh, and I'm going to put him in the crossface again, and he's going to go down right now. Yeah. Hey! Nikita Koloff, the Russian Nightmare! And you're watching the #1 show on Long Island with Monty and the Pharaoh.
He knows I'm hurting. Why would he push it today? Because I figured, okay, maybe we're just going to do 4 tomorrow. You know, but I was just thinking that's kind of a little bit, you know, because I'm hurting.
As far as me liking Dan Marotti, I don't like Dan Marotti. I think Dan Marotti is a fraud.
What makes him a fraud?
It's just he misrepresents a lot of stuff.
One time I tried to buy a DVD from Dan Marotti's website. He never shipped it to me. I ended up having to call my credit card company to get my money back. Tell me what you got to say to that no good piece of Dan Marotti.
Dan Marotti does 4 different shoot videos with the Iron Sheik and probably everybody else. He got screwed by Dan Marotti for not getting a tape and had to get his money back. And how many other people have done that? Have not gotten their products from Dan Marotti. Why I say he's a fraud. Now, I get a lot of emails from a lot of people telling me that Dan Marotti doesn't send the stuff, and how could I get it? And I keep having to tell people, I'm sorry, I'm not affiliated with Dan Marotti. Fraud! And just run your wrestling shows. You, Dan Marotti.
Jason Worthing says, Sheiky, is it true you were left in a car while Dan Marotti and the rest of the MWF crew were chowing down at Applebee's. Sheik, when you went to Boston to work for them, did they leave you inside of a car while they all went inside an Applebee's and they ate dinner?
Absolutely, that's true, and I never forgot about that. Dan Moradi didn't show me respect, and I don't care about Dan Moradi sometimes.
With the treatment he's receiving, they're leaving him in a car, they're not feeding him.
Well,
I mean,
I don't like it.
But I told Dan I'm very busy on developing something for myself. What's going to happen if somebody called me for a show and then they cancel me? What happens if we get another COVID shutdown and all the shows get canceled again? I mean, we're all looking for WrestleMania and all that. What if all that gets shut down again? Now what Tony going to do? Well, see, Dan got pissed off because he had a lot of stuff planned for me. I understand that. So, there's two sides to every story. He was hoping that he could get more out of me. And I was thinking, I don't want to die in Melrose.
Welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monty Nefaro, only seen here and produced out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. Marty Jannetty, how are you, sir?
In the house, my brothers.
In the house! But we hear things that go on, and Tony Atlas, who contacted me after he was on Dan's show and wanted to speak to me about some things that went down with Dan and him, and actually asked me for advice on it, which I did, and Tony decided to part ways with Dan. Again, some people believe Tony, some don't. With you, can you tell us what happened at the start of that Boston wrestling thing and what led to whatever happened? Because, again, I asked Dan for the video, but he wouldn't give it to me.
We go in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we do 5 episodes Friday, Saturday, so 5 a day. Come in usually the night before, pretty much always the night before, and leave, that Monday morning. That's been our routine. This past time when I come in, I had just had the right ankle about 2 months prior. Surgery on it, a joint replacement. Anyway, so I'm just getting past it, all the pain and stuff. When it got in at 1 o'clock at night, up there in Boston, and it just I'd already had 7 hours of traveling by then. Now I got this boot still on my right leg, the one that's still it ain't 100% yet, and there's a little bit of a walk, and I got there and I waited and looked around and waited and looked around and waited. Finally, I called him back. I said, "Brother, there ain't nothing here." And he goes, "Are you in the right place?" I said, "I'm right where you told me." And so I went and asked one of the limo guys. There was one guy there. Now it's like 1:30, almost 2 in the morning. One limo guy there, and he goes, "Yeah, right here's for the hotel." I called him back, said, "I'm in the right place." He called again, and then he called me. He said, "Call this number. This is the hotel. They'll tell them what's going on." I called them, and they said, "Shuttle's not there because we stop at 11 p.m. We told your guy that."
Ooh.
So, this is a hell of a time, and to be going through all this at the airport and somewhere in Boston. I called Dan back, and he said, "F it, I'll get you an Uber." And he says, go to where, find where the Ubers. And I did. I went up to the limo guy, said, "Where are the Ubers?" He pointed, "You got to go over there." And it was like a damn quarter-mile walk. And I'm like, "Nah, hell no. I got one crutch and one boot on. I ain't walking that damn far. You can't even see how far I had to walk."
Understood.
So then, I saw a taxi stand, and I called, and then I actually hoped, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I was hoping the Uber might, look for me. And I waited, because Dan had said too, I think he told me it would be like, they'd be there in 8 to 10 minutes. And I didn't want to walk off and get lost. But so when I called him back, I said, "Look, man, I'm going to get a taxi. To hell with this." Now it's 2:30 in the morning, 2:15 in the morning. I was just want to get to the damn room.
Sure. So you're off to a really, really rocky start
Oh,
here.
my God.
Did you get to the hotel before the sun came up?
I got to the hotel. It was 3 o'clock. I mean, went in and checked in and went up to the 4th floor, went to my room. After all that, the damn electronic key did not work on the door. They had no phone in the thing. It's like 3:15 in the morning. Now I got my pain pills or towards the end, you know, and I can't get a refill anytime soon. So I'm not wanting to take them unless I absolutely got to, you know, because I'm trying to stretch them through that weekend. And I lay down, man. After y'all know this feeling when you've done so much in a day, you lay down and you're so tired you can't sleep. It was one of those, and then the pain started a little bit. The pain wasn't. I guess the frustration comes out as pain.
Sure.
And I'm like, so sitting there fighting it with me. All right, should I take one? Should I take 2 pills? But anyway, I took them and I managed to get to sleep.
So you were trying to write it off. It happens, and let's go do what we got to do. I got you.
Yes, let's get our done. Third hour episode we were doing for Saturday. I mean, we were breezing. So that would be 5, 6, 7 on week 8. You'll see. You can see a change because I'm always like happy and bubbly and, you know, love doing our things. That third hour, I started getting quiet because I started getting pain in my ankles or whatever. That mid-third hour, I started having the pains, and it was getting. I didn't want to. We're filming, right? I don't want to but I'm reaching down. Y'all will see. Like I said, I'm reaching down and you know, massaging the ankles. I'm realizing, but don't make it obvious. And then we got halfway through that third hour, and they got they burn. I mean, they feel like they're in a furnace, burning. And again, I didn't want to touch the pain pills yet because I want to make sure I can get through that whole weekend. He's talking away, and I'm sitting there like, don't make a face, don't, you know, because pain was showing my face a lot, and I'm thinking about how's it looking, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what he's talking about. Oh man, I hope he don't ask me a question.
You got that absorbed in your own pain. I got you. Go on.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, man, look, I got a blanked on you. I'm so glad you didn't ask me a question right then. I said, if it's gonna happen again, I'm gonna do the Iron Sheik. I'll chop my chest. That's letting you know I'm starting to blank. Don't ask me something right then. And yeah, he's like, okay. And we got into the 4th hour, and sure enough, it started happening. I'm like, I caught myself on him, and he's looking at me. He's looking at me like weird. And I'm like, he goes, what are you doing? And he just, I guess he totally, you know. So he was so absorbed in getting our material done. I did not want that to happen again. I went over to my little bag and got a couple pills. And in the studio there, they have beer in the fridge all the time. So I went and had a beer with it. Because that way I don't have to take too many, because I have got such a high tolerance to pain medicine,
right?
And or anything really. And one beer would keep me from having to take 3 or 4 pain pills. Y'all have seen me when I take too much. That very first time we ever met.
Sure.
Yeah, time you punched me in the face.
Not the first time. He punched you in the face the second time.
That wasn't
Yeah. The second time we met, he punched you in the face.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was staying corrected. I apologize, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, way to go.
We got through 5, and I was like, now there's a break, you know, because we were doing a what do you call them, the virtual signing live later.
Okay.
And it would give me a 2 or 3 hour break to just relax and, you know, stay at the studio, but go lay somewhere and just relax and hope that, you know, everything passes. He was like our studio guy in charge, you know, in the room, hollering something. I'm looking down like, what are you talking about? He goes, let's keep going. I said, do you know what number this is? Because I knew exactly what number. And he goes, well, I don't keep up with it. I'm thinking, well, I do. That's how we judge what we pay. And I thought, well, he knows I'm hurting. Why would he push it today? Because I figured, okay, maybe we're just going to do 4 tomorrow. You know, but I was just thinking that's kind of a little bit, you know, because I'm hurting.
Well, Marty, I don't think it helped you to have to walk in the airport either. I don't think that.
You know, that first night. I mean, no, I'm sure it didn't.
No.
Saturday night, you know, I even kept telling them, listen. I mean, we were doing 8x10s, signings, so wasn't going good anyway. And you know, we got to do the same thing tomorrow. Ain't hell in a cell. Just do it then. I'm like, wrap it up. You know, and he says like 3 different times, okay, last chance, we're about to wrap it up. I'm like, we'll tell him that, let's go. But you got to remember, that seed is in there. Why is he working me this hard knowing I'm hurting? You know, and then that seed from the first night walking around 2 hours, and those little bitty seeds are in there. I think it all just took over at once that night, Saturday night. And I called a couple friends I needed to talk to people. A couple of my girls, and even my sister, talked to her because she's like, "What happened? You were fine when you talked to me. You were just down about something." And I called her. After that, it didn't work, and I called a girl that I know from Boston, told her I needed company. I didn't need to be alone. And she showed up 20, 30 minutes later. And again, remember now, the intent was to get up in the morning and go to the gym. That was my main thing. So to rehab, and get a workout. When she got to the door and opened the door to see her, not some people will understand, but and I remember seeing her there with a bag, like overnight. I figured overnight bag. I don't know what else she might have had in it. And I smiled to see her, but it must have shown on my face because she's, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No." And she hugged me, and it felt so good. It was not meaning sexual or nothing like that. It just felt like she was really hugging out of compassion. And pretty much the next memory I got is going to the studio Sunday and Dan not letting me in. And I couldn't understand it. I got out of the car, went up to the studio, see through doors, and there's Dan, and he won't let me in. And I didn't understand it. What the hell? And I'm like, "Dan, what are you doing?" Because we got work to do, right? I'm telling you, this is me, and I was confused as hell. And I don't remember if he told Eric Clapton to drive me around for a while, or called him and told him, but he just wouldn't let us in. He cracked the door a little bit, and I wanted to get in. He said, no, go right around for a little bit or something. I was confused as I was like, what the hell? And we got in the car and rode around for a bit, and I'm talking to this guy, and I couldn't even cut up with him too much because I'm like thinking, what's going on here? And it crossed my mind at that time, okay, wait a minute. He gave me half my money up front the first day, and it's going to give me the second half after we were done. I'm thinking, is he trying to get out of paying me the second half? That was what was going through my mind.
Okay.
And boy, it started. Then everything. Now all them seats before. Okay, that Thursday night was. He didn't care to pick me up, but Friday went well. And Saturday he wanted to overwork me while I was hurt. My mind starts perpetuating and getting worse. On man, what the? It was going to a bad place. That caused me to be in that place where this is bullshit, this is bullshit, this is bullshit. And I knew I couldn't be mean to him, but I needed to be if I was getting ripped off. And
understood.
I right before the Hell in a Cell, I still had. Remember, I bought that half pint, and I had half of that left. So it's nothing but a couple shots. But I had taken that, took a couple of pain pills, and thought, oh, now I'm gonna cut loose on the live because he can't edit it out when I ask him questions. He kind of bothered him being called, just basically saying, "Are you a thief?" On live TV. At one point, I think he flipped the money over to me, and I'm like, "All right, so what? And what about this? And what about that?" I think I started bringing up them little damn things, needling them on it, and he was needling me back and getting back because he didn't appreciate the money thing. One time I said, "Well, where's my damn money then?" It was still laying there. He'd already gave it to me. But yeah, that was a bad thing, and I just contributed to. I had a bad day at the office.
You've been a friend of the show. You're a good guy. And I wasn't watching the show. People had told me what happened. I tried to go back on to see what happened. I wanted to see if you were okay.
Curious.
And you know what? So we're being 100% honest with you. I wasn't going to go put this on the show. I wanted to see what happened. And then I was even more disturbed that he went to social media and basically said that you've got major problems. And I didn't think that was right to do either.
Okay, go ahead.
You come on these shows, you make certain people a good amount of money. There's a lot of fans that love, enjoy watching you.
Yeah.
They give donations. They subscribe. I just don't understand the fact that if something goes wrong on your show, which you know, it happens, okay? Look, my friend, a lot of people think it's a work between you and me, and you could tell them it's a work or tell them it's not a work. I'd really like you to clear that up, too, is that we've had our issues with each other. The fact of the matter is...
I remember the first time I came in, I actually had a great time with y'all, but evidently I was spaced out.
All I'm saying to you, Marty, and I'm saying to the fans out there, right,
Yeah.
is that if Dan has a problem with Tony Atlas or has a problem with you, you're both legends. You make him a lot of money. Have the respect to make a phone call privately and say, hey, Marty, you did me dirty. I just want to make that clear. I was unhappy with what you did. And you talk it out like men.
I could agree with that.
You've also made him a good amount of money, my friend. Okay? You've been good to him. Look, some things get forgiven here. And again, I'm not attacking Dan. I don't even know Dan. So me and the Pharaoh, we just think about our show. We don't really talk about anybody else's show.
Don't get involved
We
in
respect everybody else's show. And I will tell you this, Marty. First of all, I want to say thank you for. I called you in very short notice, and you came on like the gentleman you are. We love you.
There was a reason Sunday happened, and this pain is the dejection that I may never get to do what I wanted to do. That these ankles may never heal 100%. That's emotional. That will probably won't go away for a while, but it will. It eventually will. I was thinking I was getting railroaded on pay. And it made me think about those other things that were, petty, but still, once you get in that frame of mind, it's like, oh no, man, you left me out there 2 hours at Boston Airport. Oh no, man, you ran me in the ground yesterday when you knew I was hurt. Oh no, man, you just don't want to pay me my other half. Look, man, rehabs I've been to high up ministers. Preachers. I've gone to friends. I've confided in friends that had the same issues. But I won't say Jake Roberts or Scott Hall's name, but I've gone to guys that had a problem like mine.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Marty.
And nothing is going to work until I can do it for myself. Rehabs are damn work, first of all. They might work for 9-to-5 type of personalities. A 9-to-5er, not putting them down, but does not live the lifestyle and have the personality of a wrestler.
Not even close. Not even close. Yeah, I totally get it.
So the rehabs, I mean, all that is a PR stunt. Like, hey, he's trying. Hey,
Marty, if I can get this in real fast, just coming from my point of view, dude, we would never put a hit piece out on you. And besides, as far as this relationship between us and you goes, the only one who's ever done any hitting is you.
No, that's true.
So there you go.
Okay.
Ow! Ow!
Ow! You got me on that one.
I think Marty drew a pretty good picture of the whole situation, and as I was saying, I can relate to the pain deal. I understand what that's like. I mean, the fact that he was counting his pain pills and making sure he got through the weekend, that's a terrible feeling.
Sure.
Being pushed the way he was probably didn't help anything either.
I will say I have a problem with this.
Yeah, what is that?
I wrote Dan and say, hey, man, I went to go check the video. A lot of fans had reached out to me.
Right.
They said something went down. Marty mentioned us and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Dan wrote me and said, I would never share that piece with anybody. Then he went on to his channel and said that I asked for the piece. And he must have told Marty I was going to show a hit piece on it.
What?
And again, I said I wanted it for the show because I wanted to see it so we could discuss it like we did last week. Right?
Logical.
Again, if he misunderstood, he misunderstood.
Right.
I respect Marty Jannetty. Yeah. Always have. We've had our problems with him.
Do you think?
Okay.
Just a little? Maybe?
I don't agree, and I'll say this. I know there's a lot of Boston wrestling fans out there. Mm-hmm. This is the second time Dan has gone to social media.
Right.
With he's got problems, but ripping them apart.
Right.
But he's got ankle problems, or Tony's broke. Listen, if you know secrets or you know certain things, and I don't know this to be a fact, I'm just hypothetically saying this, that Tony Atlas needs money, why would you go to social media and embarrass Tony Atlas? Someone that's given us what he's given us.
Again, it's the most baffling thing about that approach that he seems to have taken. I mean, he's worked with them over and over again.
And made lots of money. When I had a problem with Marty, did I go to social media on it?
No.
What did I do?
Refresh me on the exact course of action.
When he came to the first show, a signing,
Right.
We were new to the industry.
Right.
We had a signing.
Right.
And Marty partied
Oh, God.
a little hard when I
Sure.
had children there.
Right. Correct.
What? I wasn't happy, was I?
No one was happy.
How did
Wasn't
I?
just you and me.
How did I approach Marty before the second show? Everybody saw the second show when he punched me in the face. Okay. What happened before? Did I not have a conversation with him before? And I told him straight up how I felt. I didn't go to social media.
I remember the tension
Right?
in the room.
In the second show,
Yeah.
he wanted to speak about it. I tried to avoid speaking about it because you wanted a good show.
I wanted to get through it. without
And
it-
Marty
Right.
wanted to talk about what I was saying to him.
Right.
And then it went to where it went. to.
Yeah, it sure did. Sure did.
Since
Yep.
then, Marty have cleared the air like men, and
Right.
that's it.
Right.
As far as Dan goes, I don't know which is greater offense, his exploitation of Marty or his god-awful opening montage of high school level editing for those embarrassed hard cuts.
Boy, did he hit a home run with that montage comment. Am I allowed to say stuff like that? That is the
guess,
worst arts and crafts. You fail. That's horrible. I
Wow.
couldn't pass in third grade with that intro.
Could always
I don't
count-
even know what I'm watching. I get so confused.
Oh, man.
It's horrible.
I'm
And
trying
you know
to
what
take
else
the
is-
high road
No,
here.
I'm not. I'm not trying to take the high road, okay? Say whichever you want. Yeah, I'm so used to it, the things that have been said about my mother. Anyway, it's ridiculous to me. I'm sorry. How can you work him like that and not notice? You've worked with him a while. How do you not notice he's heading towards what he was heading towards? He was in terrible pain. He said it was building up over a couple of days. You don't realize I might be pushing the guy I worked with.
Marty is Dan's money bag of comedy and pisses me off. When Marty's in bad shape, get him help, not show him off. I would never take advantage of a legend that I watched. Even a regular human being, I wouldn't do that. We may ask hard questions. We may ask uncomfortable questions, but we don't look to hurt anybody, right? We don't look to take advantage of anybody.
Right.